Okay, we hope everybody's going to stick around and watch some of the other films for the rest of the day. Susan Johnston, I met her, I guess it's been about 3 years now, 4 years ago. And she was such a high-energy person that you just couldn't help but stand next to her and hope that some of it rubbed off on you. I'm a part of Back to One. We're a company out of Sacramento, a production company. And she came down and came up, and she did a show up there, a workshop, and the people loved her, and we're proud to be a part of this film festival. If you guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves, starting on the very end.
I'm Laryn McCann. And I'm Katie French. And we produced and wrote The Complex.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Douglas Horn, and this is Dan Southworth, and we are the co-creators of Divergence. Hi, I'm Steve Surpass, writer, producer of Before We Go to Sleep.
I'm Rob Bruner, director and co-writer of Between Jupiter and Mars.
I'm Kevan Tucker, I'm the director of Compulsive Love.
Okay, well, web series. What exactly is your intent behind making a web series? I mean, do you plan on getting rich? Do you plan on having this project outdo a major film company such as Paramount or any of those? Is it going to soar to the top and make you a household name? What exactly is your intent behind making a webisode? We'll start.
Famous. Yes. Yes, all of you.
All right, famous. And now I want you some real questions. The real question here is, do you already have a future for your webisode?
I mean, we did this mostly just to kind of keep fresh and keep making things. I like to try and make things as much as possible, and Adam Simquist, the writer, came to me with the script, and I thought it was funny, so we did it, and we're talking about doing a second season, and we're kind of, we're trying to figure that out. We don't know what the future is.
I like your first question. We all want to be poor, actually, because that's. But I think the reason we made the reason we made a web series is because we can't make a TV series. It's too expensive, and it's to go through those channels takes forever. So it's like getting in, and it's a way you can get in. It's a way you can be creative, and create something that can get a following, and then use that as a calling card, or just use it to create more.
Good point. It's definitely a calling card.
I agree with what's been said. I think it's to have a presence in new media, and it's also kind of one of the least expensive forms to get everybody working in the performing arts. I mean, my casting crew are mostly film and theater people, and it was less expensive to produce a first season of what we did than it was to, say, produce a play in Los Angeles for 6 weeks, which could cost exponentially more when you're renting a theater from week to week. So it's less real estate involved, is one reason.
Okay. Well, before we move on, so we talked about less expensive. We're usually talking about a low to no budget when you're doing a webisode, but we see that you can do them with quality. And so when you're planning your webisode, when you're sitting back and contemplating whether you're going to start shooting in June or December, are you worried about your budgets, or are you worried more about your actors that you have in place and your crew already that's going to kind of commit to you at a cheap to no price?
For us, it's a tricky thing because you don't have the budget to secure and lock down schedules all the time. You're working with actors that you hope love your material. First, that's what we started with, and you understand when they have to take a job that could help their career and or put food on their table, but that means your schedule's screwed. Part of what we had to do was build a contingency into our schedule where we could be a little flexible with people's schedules. And so you kind of have to think outside the box. You can't really apply normal filmmaking standards and protocols. You have to be somebody who's I guess the term guerrilla filming is very applicable in that sense. And creative with how you do that.
Yeah, and I don't, like Dan said, we both work in the film industry in various capacities, so we're used to working on budgeted projects, and sometimes it's an adjustment to scale back to what your budget actually is. You grow when you do that. And I liked your previous question also, and just a slightly different perspective on that I feel is we approach this because, not necessarily because we wanted to keep working or because we wanted an opportunity or we wanted to try something at a lower budget. We created this because we wanted to see this kind of show. And we thought there was an audience that wanted to see this kind of show. And we kept kind of hearing that and seeing that there was something there, and we believe that this is where television is going to be. So we created, a full 11-episode season for Divergence. We went a little bit bigger than a lot of self-funded projects do, and I think that was mainly out of the desire of what we were hearing from the audience.
What I really like about all this right now is that you can get up and put your money where your mouth is. You can do something, and you can make it. And you'll struggle along the way, and you'll, like any craftsman, you'll get better the more you do it. And that's not an opportunity you always have as a filmmaker. Oftentimes I used to say I should have been a musician. I could at least pick up a guitar and sing, if I could sing, but I have to be an actor instead. And unfortunately, that requires a cast and a crew. But here we go. It's like my guitar, this web series genre. I can pick up that camera, get a light crew together, and start creating, and hopefully get started on that path of being a good artist.
Sing it, Danny.
Hey.
I think on that same note of just picking up a camera and a crew, something related to the budget that we definitely work a lot with is just taking stock of the resources that we do have available, locations that are easy for us to access, so that we can really end up putting the money that we are able to raise to make the best product possible. So really making sure that we're even using that as sort of a creative limitation to push ourselves further into the story by using the resources that we do have to make a really great product.
Yeah, and I think that's something we learned working on this. We wrote a very structured script for the complex and kind of were locked into a 10-day shooting schedule that was very precise. And then we're working on something now that creatively we can adjust to any shooting schedule. So kind of shaping the story to something that's a little more flexible. And it's fun to work at it either way, to force yourself to really stick to 10 days of shooting and just be like, well, we're all free this weekend and we have a camera, so what do you guys feel like doing? So I think finding a balance between those two is kind of what's creatively fun about all this.
Oh, definitely.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I really like the complex.
Oh,
I thought
thank
you
you.
guys did, on your point of being close with your schedule, I thought you guys did a lot with just, with a kitchen table and a hallway.
Thank you. Thanks. That's
Okay.
our apartments. Okay, great.
We also did, who didn't shoot in their own apartment?
So what we're going to do is we're going to open up to some questions, but before we do that, a webisode is generally a calling card to say that this is what we can do, and they're looking to turn it into something more. I love webisodes. I myself made a webisode, which while we were shooting it, we decided, this is pretty good. We have them here for free. Let's go ahead and make a movie. So we did, and last year it won Best Feature. And so,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What was the film?
It was called Nothing Left. And the thing is that a webisode can grow, and right now we have distribution in 52 countries. Congratulations. And so
All right. That's a real success story.
Webisodes are a lot more than what it used to be. And so now a lot of people have iPhones and their Androids and their Galaxies, and they're watching these things on their breaks. And so they want to see more when they get home, and so they're asking distributors, hey, can we see more of this? So it's actually something out there for a webisode maker. And they're definitely great filmmakers to make a short story that you like in that short amount of time. So it's a lot harder than having $1 million budget and making something work. So I Definitely, I know where you're at, and it's a great job that you guys have done. Right now, we're going to open up to some of you might have some questions that you'd like to ask the filmmakers here. Any hands? Anyone have any questions?
Yes, three times a week I curl.
What's the typical budget that you guys work with on
Okay.
average?
She wants to know what the typical budget is that they work with on average.
We raised about 10 grand on Indiegogo.
Self-financed, 10 grand, 8 episodes in a trailer.
So you're asking how much money we spent on the series?
Yeah.
All of it.
More than all of it. Yeah, we were 10 grand start to finish, so that seems to be a magic number.
10 grand.
Finished spending all of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
we should probably
I
still
think
have
we
money to
spent
spend.
about 10 grand in actual cash money, but then there were a lot of favors. I think
Oh,
in
yeah.
order to do a thing like this, you
Yeah.
have to pull favors,
Oh, yeah.
you know, which amount to probably like another $20,000.
Okay, any other questions? Go ahead.
How do you plan to monetize your webisode? Are you attaching commercials to it, or what path do you have
Okay.
for monetization?
He wants to know how are they going to monetize their webisode? Are they going to have commercials such as advertisement connected to it either before, in between, or at the end of it on wherever the media is that you're going to be showing it? So has anyone gone that far with it, or?
Sure. We started out with the idea of having commercial sponsored, and since this is the festival premiere of Divergence, we've been out online for a while. We have, like I said, we have 11 episodes, and we have 7 up right now.
And just to give you a really quickly a serious answer, we've spent somewhere around $60,000 for our 11 to 12 episodes.
Yeah, for
It's a
about.
conservative. That's a conservative estimate.
Yeah. But that's for a feature length run. It's about 90 to 120 minutes worth of material. So we had commercials on there, and we found that there wasn't really a good payback for the commercials. Probably a good idea for Google does very well with it, but us not as much. And because we were out there, we were contacted by a couple of different networks. In fact, a number of networks, and they were very interested in it. But for us, there are certain networks really just want to sort of take over your property. And I won't name any names, but I'm sure anybody who's interested in the genre can find some horror stories online. So we lined up. So IndieFlix picked us up, and there's a little money there based on a very interesting revenue model that IndieFlix has. I advise you to look them up if you're a filmmaker. And we also recently joined a network called Zombie Orpheus Entertainment, and they do Journey Quest and Glitch and a number of great web series. They've been at it for years. And I mentioned this because they said, take all the ads off and go subscriber supported. Find a fan base, connect with them, give them a great show, and then put it in their hands to keep it alive if they want it. And that is our model, and we're just about to launch that. We're going to launch a Kickstarter campaign to do a season finale episode, a big 25-minute, 30-minute season finale, and then future seasons will be on that model if it works. So that's our approach. Actually, if you're interested, I have a blog, DouglasHorn.com, and I talk about all of this and lay bare all the facts. So I'm going to stop now.
Okay, I'll look at it. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to answer?
Just because I think we had different kind of show and smaller resources, we're just doing the hosted sites that you can go to once you've produced your show, Blip TV, Coldcast, Web Series Network. And there's profit sharing that's non-exclusive that just can increase your presence. And we've gotten a couple of calls from networks here and overseas based on those sites. I mean, we aspire to what these guys did. That's brilliant. I love the subscription model. But we're a different kind of show, and so we're after a different kind of market. So we've started just with the sites that'll pay you to share, revenue sharing. Yeah.
It's kind of an exciting time because, before people made web series, they made short films, and nobody bought them. I mean, I was lucky I got in Canada, so I got Canadians buy them. But public television. But now there are opportunities emerging for web series and true monetization, and it's still, everybody keeps using the term the Wild West of
It's
web.
a Wild West moment.
Yeah, so who knows how it's going to go, but it's really cool that, you see different ways. And, and it's also, the model is so differently, it's based on viewership. And even though, say, your pilot episode may not get that many views, if one of your episodes gets a huge viewing, then all of a sudden the distributors take notice.
That's a really good, straightforward answer to that. We don't know. We're out there pioneering the field and just turning over stuff and mining for whatever's there. Finding models and formulas, and some go and some stick and some don't, and
That's one of the reasons that I try to be very transparent about what's actually happening, because I think there's something in the web series world. I've been on a lot of web series panels recently. I was just one at the Seattle International Film Festival, and I think there's a lot of people who do what we've kind of all done in the film world, which is kind of like keep our budget and all our little secrets to ourselves. And I don't think that's the way to tackle it from now on. I think we should be sharing this information. We should be as transparent as possible. We've been the beneficiaries of a lot of that from the Journey Quest guys, from a lot of other people who have great models, and I really think if we all kind of get together and say, here's what's working for us, and you go, you know what, that's kind of working for us, but we tried this and we tried that we can all benefit and advance the genre. What do you think? What do you girls think?
Well, thank you. Yes, I agree. It's, I think what's exciting about it in many respects is that, well, we are pioneers, aren't we? So we get to say that, which is one thing. But I think that I have no answer to this question. I forgot it.
That's it, exactly.
I think something that's really exciting about web content and new media overall is that it is so viewer-driven. So often with Kickstarter, Indiegogo, it is directly viewer-funded in a way that major production content is absolutely not. And I think, as you're saying, we have a great debt to those people that help fund us and view our content. In having that transparency for them and for other filmmakers, we also have an incredible opportunity to bring in more diversity to what we're creating, and a greater, there's so many more stories that we can tell that I think there's a real hunger for, that we don't have to deal with a big network exec saying, no, nobody's gonna watch this, because, we can go to our viewers directly, and we know they do wanna watch that kind of thing. Like you guys said, you wanted to create something that you wanted to watch that excited you, and there are a lot of other people that watch your thing that think that too. So I think that's something that's really amazing about new media.
Yeah, I think that has to be my motivation, is it's a show you want to watch, like these guys said.
It's definitely viewer driven. It's definitely.
I mean, I think that one of the things that I kind of noticed in doing this series was actually how kind of freeing the form of web series are, and there's no real restrictions on anything. There's, you don't have to have, a certain amount of, story before a commercial break or something like that. Shows can be as long as you want them to be. Episodes can take whatever form you want them to be. They don't even have to be the same. I mean, I think that you're looking right now at something like Arrested Development, which is actually just kind of a really well-financed web series, is experimenting with that. And that can be viewed as episodes, or it's almost better that it's viewed as like one kind of giant movie. And each episode is a different length, and you can really do anything. And I think that once web series stop being a kind of audition piece or like mini television shows, I feel like things can really open up, and you can have a half an hour episode and then lots of little 5-minute episodes kind of detailing other things and going off onto tangents and things like that. And I think that the storytelling possibilities in web series is actually kind of infinite and wonderful, and I'm really excited about it.
Definitely, we have time for it.
Oh, I was going to say absolutely, and I know I threw out that number of 50 to 60,000, but we did that piecemeal. We did a few episodes at a time, well, 6 at a time, over a long time. And I liked it, and it was like making a feature-length film, but a scene at a time, and posting it and getting immediate feedback on the direction we were going. So it's what's wonderful about not having to stick to that format.
And I think there is a transition, as you said, like as we go from being a calling card I think for a lot of people, it's no longer just a calling card. I think that there's a number of series that are self-sustaining, and then we see big things like Arrested Development and House of Cards that are, I mean, there's really nothing else to call them but a web series, but they're changing the format and they're changing the way people are thinking about the format. So our goal was always to be there when the audience got there, when the audience arrived.
Well, again, we have time for one more question.
Hi. How aggressively did you market your show prior to release?
She's asking how aggressively did you approach marketing your project prior to release?
I'll start. We did, I think, about 5 or 6 weeks of really, really hardcore. We had like a new trailer every week, twice a week. Even we had a lot of Twitter things happening. We weren't as integrated as some new media web series. You know, like Lizzie Bennet Diaries comes to mind, is a really great way to use Twitter to tell the story as you market. So that wasn't really our angle with the complex specifically, but yeah, about 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, we had all the trailers, and then each character had a blog, still has a blog that you can check out. Yeah, we had a really fun party to get it going, and the same way you call in all your favors when you're actually producing it, you call in all your favors when you're trying to get the word out there. And everybody has a community. We came from New York, and we're out here with a bunch of people we went to school with, and just called everybody we knew and made sure they were watching the trailers and sending the trailers out. And we know just a few people in publicity, and we're able to get it out. So it's just a, you know, when you build a little, that risk on risk, and you got like 4 soldiers, and then you just kind of make it get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's so tiny at first, and then you realize that someone you never knew could have heard about it. So it's just talking about it to anybody and being that person in the room who will talk about it to anybody. So, but you start small, and then eventually you get a little bigger.
I like the risk reference.
Thank you.
Stay out of Kamchatka. I will say this, you know, in the full transparency, full disclosure, we did not perform the way we would have liked to. I think that's an area we undersold ourselves. We just didn't do enough marketing ahead of time. We're playing catch up now, and we're faced with a show that really should have, you know, an extra 0 behind it and a number of hits. So, and now we're playing catch up. I think we're creators, and we want to get it out there, and we're not necessarily the best. We're not necessarily the best advocates for our show, but we're all we got right now. So I'd say don't do what we did.
Okay. Now, if we can keep, I'm sure we have about 30 seconds.
Oh, really quick. That's the challenge, and that will be the challenge, is the marketing. And we spent most of our time and energy on at least trying to make the show really good in its quality. That's where we suffer. But we did do a little bit of stuff, and we do have some momentum going now. And the interesting thing is that once it's on the web, it's out there for a long time, if not forever. And you can still gain momentum in your marketing campaign. And like he said, play catch up, and I think you'll be okay. Time will tell, and maybe in the next New Media Film Festival, I'll have some answers for you.
Good, that says it all.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you that making the web series is the fun part, and mad marketing makes me want to tear my eyeballs out.
But I really do believe that the marketing in this particular genre can be done retrospectively and be just as successful.
We're running around right now, and we're shooting, like, popping off videos. We'll do one here in the lobby, and we're like, hey fans, we're here at the New Media Fest, wherever we are, where we're scouting locations, and so we are trying to do that as a tool. It's like quick videos.
That's great. It's great. Well, everyone, give them a round of applause. Sure, go ahead, real quick.
Could we all go down the road and just tell them where we're all showing?
That would be great. We're on Blip TV, The Complex. We are thecomplexseries.com, and that's it, yeah.
So Divergence, our action sci-fi series, is at whatisdivergence.com, or you can go to facebook.com/divergence.series, or just go straight to YouTube/popular uprising. That's our company.
Okay.
Before we go to sleep.com, you can join our Facebook page. We're on Blip TV and Sky 203 in the UK.
We're just starting the process of marketing, so we're planning to launch on July 5th. between Jupiter and Mars.com.
Compulsive Love is on YouTube and Blip, and also compulsivelove.com.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. And thank you. And download and watch a webisode today. Thank you so much, everyone.